Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Matt. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do a quick review. This is my first time flying, so it's kind of a test and review. It's a live review from my standpoint, but we're going to be looking at this season's add-on by Bijan. I showed this in one of my last videos, but he recreates the way that the trees render, and he adds like 50 different types of trees and different colors for the different trees based on what area you're in. So this is what we are expecting to see here. So of course we're going to be flying not in Japan, so we're not going to see those purples, but we're expecting to see some New England, USA tree colors. So we're looking for that. The other thing that I installed was these VFR Radio Towers. It gets 3 out of 5 stars, not a whole lot of data points there, only 2 reviews. And the reason being, from what I can tell, is the heights of these towers aren't realistic. He went with an average of about 100 feet. So, of course, people are complaining if there's 1,200-foot towers that they're looking for and the tower is only drawn at 100 feet, it's not very realistic. So I went and installed it anyways. I figured $10 is reasonable. So we'll have to see how it looks. I feel like 100-foot trees, or I'm sorry, 100-foot towers are still better than no towers at all. So hopefully he continues to add to this modification and maybe add altitude in the future, but in the meantime we'll see how this looks. And then he also has a cell tower one as well, so it'll add cell towers, that sort of a thing. So again, same thing, the heights won't be realistic. They'll be about 100 feet on average, but we'll have to see how it looks. So based on, so we're here in Connecticut at good speed, and I have a flight plan into Chester. There's some towers depicted on this map here. According to what this Tarbit developer says in his description, he says it's based on, so he's got 24,000 cell towers dropped all over the place, and 19,000 FM transmission towers, and 2,000 digital station towers. And he says that it's all based on, let me see, Federal Communication Commission data. So if they're on the VFR sectional here, I would imagine we'll see them. So we're just going to do a quick loop around and, excuse me. Yeah, I would say we'll come up here and maybe do one of these guys and snake back down to land at Chester. And that'll give us an opportunity to see if some of those towers are there and see what they look like. So let's plan on that. I'm going to close out of all this stuff just to make sure it's not slowing me down. Alright, so we're in the cockpit here. Let's go through the popping out our radio. So we're coming on, beacons coming on, masters coming on, avionics coming on. We'll crack our transponder to standby, and we'll pop the 4 of these guys out. Move it over here, and we'll start popping each one out. So this guy goes down here. This looks like our autopilot, so he goes down here. 430 goes over here, and transponder goes here, so that looks good. Our always on top is checked, so let's go back to our scenery view. Of course, they parked us in a as ridiculous as of a spot as they could find, so we'll have to navigate our way out of here. But let's continue with the startup. So I already opened up the fuel valve. Actually, I'm just going to double check that one. This guy. So yeah, he's open. So we're going to crack our throttle. We're going to go full rich on the mixture. Oh, I don't know why that just happened. And we'll take our fuel pump on. So we got air, we got fuel, and let's give it some spark. Coming on. Let's set our parking brake. Do a quick peek around us, make sure we're not blowing anybody away. Coming on. We'll adjust for 1,000 RPM. All that good. Okay, pressures, temperatures in the green, vacuum pressures coming up to the green. We have amperage. Fuel left and right look good for the mission. Engine temperature looks good. Fuel flow is still at 0 because we haven't been running for very long. Alright, let's continue getting set up. Let's get our avionics set up. So autopilot's fine where it is. Transponder is standby on VFR. Radios, first thing we're going to be doing is calling Goodspeed CTAF 122.8. One of my panels doesn't want to play along. So let's troubleshoot that on the fly here. So it's the Moby Flight 2 here. Let's try disabling the knobster and maybe re-enabling it. Oh, that's not doing it. Let's go from custom to display 1, turn them off, turn them back on. Let's see if the off and back on trick works. No, it didn't. Alright, I'm going to turn all of these off. Oh, that's interesting. This guy's frozen. I'm going to close out of that. Oh, there's 2 instances of it open. Maybe that's the problem. So let's reopen Air Manager. It connected properly. It says down here, it says it's connected to Microsoft Flight Simulator, so that looks good. I'm going to hit my flaps. I'm going to have to do that in here. So if I hit my flaps down, or parking brake, I'm sorry, flaps. Okay, so it's responding. Let's go ahead and launch our gray panel background and then Moby Flight. Let's hit the button. There it is. So looks like we're back alive. And yeah, I'll hit the flaps one more time. I see the lever go. So okay, we're back. Sorry for that. Slowed us down by a minute or so. So we were looking to tune our radio. We're going to go 122.8. Let's see. I want to be on the comm. 122.8. And then before we go, so we'll put that in primary. And then in standby, let's get weather. We don't have weather here at... Oh, I'm drawing still clear all that. Put it in pan. So we don't have weather at Goodspeed, but Chester next door has weather. They have an AWOS on 118.325. Put that in the primary.
Kilo Sierra, November Charlie, automated weather observation 1600 Zulu. Wind 285 at 7. Visibility 7. Sky condition, few clouds at 700 feet. Temperature 14C dew point, 13 EC altimeter
299er 2.
November Charlie, automated weather observation 1600 Zulu. Wind 285.
299er 2. We'll make sure we have that set. We do. And the altimeter says we're at just about sea level. If we look at our left, you can see the water there. There's a river. Yeah, I think we're sea level here. 285 are the winds, so we're going to be taking off to the west. If we go to the supplement here at 42 Bravo, good speed, we see runway 32 is what we're going to use. And then it's not a big enough airport for them to give us a, so this is Chester's approach plate. So it's not a big enough airport for them to give us a taxi diagram, so I think we'll be able to find our way. So we got weather, we have our comm frequency in there. Let's go ahead and switch the transponder over to alt mode. And I think we're ready to start taxiing. So we're going to throw our landing light taxi on, nav and strobes on, and we are going to turn ourselves around here. So I'm going to give it full right rudder. We're going to act like that guy isn't there because they always do that to us. Trying to think which way we'll have an easier time turning on. Maybe I'll turn to the left. So I'm going to go full left rudder, and I'm going to go full left brake. We're going to release our parking brake, and we're going to, while we hold that left brake, give it some throttle and pivot around that brake. Again, we're acting like that guy isn't there because we just took his head off. We're going to act like this grass isn't perfectly manicured and we're not completely screwing with it. Some soft field practice here. Alright, we're on the brakes. Let's take a quick look on the approach end, or that's the, let me see, we said we're taking off 3-2, so that'll be the departure end. Let's set our heading bug for 3-2. So approach end that way, it looks good. We don't see anybody in the pattern. I think we're going to start taxiing out. So let's make a call on 122.8 verified. Good speed traffic, Cessna 4523 November, taxiing out of parking, taking the active, back taxiing for runway 32. Good speed. Alright, let's start moving. One last look. Looks good. So we're looking around, looking at the trees. This kind of look piney. I don't really have a reference point to go off of right now. I'd have to compare to some of our last videos, but they look pretty New England to me. Windsock looks pretty much like what they told us to expect. Oh, we're going a little quick here in our taxi. Start throwing some brakes. Pretty sure there's not a house there in real life. That's pretty funny. Alright, I'm gonna use the whole runway because good speed is pretty short. So we're gonna use everything we have here without taking our right landing gear off. Kind of cockeyed right there at the end. Alright, we're going to call that good. We'll come back inside the cockpit. Lights, camera, action. So all of our lights are on. Camera, we are squawking VFR and 1200. And action, our mixture is full rich. Fuel pump is on. Takeoff trim is set. Flaps, we'll throw in one notch of flaps there for a quick takeoff. Okay, I'm going to hold the brakes. We're going to treat this as a short field. I'm going to go all the way up on my RPM. RPM's all the way up. Verified 2350. Engine pressures, temperatures in the green. We'll pretend we already did our run-up checks. All right, we're looking good. I'm off the brakes. We'll start making our way down the runway. Airspeed's alive. Right about the halfway point of the runway here. Airspeed's at 50. We're looking good for the takeoff. And 60 will rotate. And we're up, looking good. I'm gonna trim for 70 knots. Coming up over this bridge. So we should see our first tower here. Out the right, or out in front of us. Looking for a tower. Should be directly off of our nose. Directly off of our nose. That might be it. Oh, we just passed it. So I'm going to loop around. No, not according to the map, we didn't. Maybe the GPS position wasn't absolutely perfect on it. I'm going to leave that notch of flaps where it is. Could have sworn out the left there I saw a tower. I'm going to bring the throttle way back. We'll pass by that a little bit more closely this time. Maybe. So that's our pause button. Our active pause button works. So if I see it again this time, we're going to hit the active pause. Right there. Pause. And we'll hop outside of the aircraft. Look that way. I'm gonna switch over to our drone camera. If I can figure out how to do this. Oh, maybe I need to be inside here to do it. I might not be good enough with that. So I guess you can see it right there. That's probably the best view I can get us. But towards the left side of the screen. So it's not very tall. It just looks like a power line. I don't think Microsoft Flight Simulator draws that. So you can see it there as well. Let's see if we can. Oh, I'm not even thinking I could do this, right? So I don't think Microsoft Flight Simulator draws those, so I'm pretty sure that's the Towers modification that's drawing that. Wow, I need to get a lot better with my with my camera angles. I'm gonna start losing viewers on this. Okay, let's yikes. All over the place. So we'll go back to our standard view and let's keep going. So I'm going to go full throttle. We're going to take it off pause and we'll start pulling up a bit. So I think the location there was pretty good if that's what they were talking about. It's not exactly what the map had to say about it. The map tells us we're over it right now, but I'm not seeing anything below us. We still have that one notch of flaps in. I'm going to leave that just because we're trying to make this more of a scenic tour. Going to fly slowly so we can see stuff on the ground. Alright, we got a ways to go. Flaps coming up. And let's get to our next set of towers. We're looking to go here. I'm going to start coming left. Oops. Although we should come back down and look more closely at these trees. Oh, there's two more towers. Nice. That might even be, so those were two towers. That might even be the ones that were depicted on the map. Hard left. Those trees definitely do look nice. There's 2 more towers on the top. Heck yeah. 2 more towers on the top of the hill here. There's our pause button. So that's cool. Now I'm looking on the map. I don't see those on the map. It's kind of hard to tell. It's possible that the geolocation that he's using to draw these towers might not be perfectly accurate with what the simulator is giving us for GPS position, but still, I'd say that's pretty cool. It certainly adds realism, and so far I have no complaints. Height-wise, the towers are pretty much just above the trees, or the transmission line towers are just above the trees, so I'd say that's, you know, pretty good for accuracy there. So no complaints with that. Pull up, miss those trees. Alright, we're gonna follow the river. I drop our throttle back. We'll come back down the back side of this. And we'll follow the shoreline and see what our scenery looks like on the shore. We're going to start slowing way back. We'll look for about 80 knots, and then we'll throw some flaps in. We'll just cruise along the shoreline at 80 knots. Dip our toes in the water. Alright, we're at 80. I'm going to drop a notch of flaps, and we'll look for acceptable power setting to hold this airspeed. Start trimming it back. So I'm going to start a climb and come to the right here, because according to our map we have more towers coming up. I see 2 towers on the top of the hill there. That could be what it's talking about. Although, according to... yeah, that looks pretty good location-wise. Go full throttle, we're getting a little slow here. So on the map, we got our... oh! Towers right in front of us there. We got towers all along the ridgeline here. That is pretty awesome. I am a big fan of that. Talk about adding realism. Wow. More towers off the nose there. Wow, there's a full transmission. Full set of transmission lines here. We're following the transmission lines. So it looks like we found power lines and we're just following them. I wonder, do they cross the river and get picked up on the other side? Wow, that is awesome. There they are. We're following the power lines. Very cool. So this modification got 3 stars because they said the towers were difficult to see. They weren't the proper heights. I'm going to throw it out here that this looks pretty good. I have no complaints. Yeah, this is awesome. Great job. I don't remember that developer's name off the top of my head. Look at this. The towers just follow the cleared out terrain here. This is great. Awesome job. So anybody who's looking to add transmission towers and radio towers and cell towers so the transmission towers and the cell towers were 2 different packages. I think I showed you. They're about $10 each. So for 20 bucks, you can add this realism to your sim. Very cool. So again, these right here on the top of the ridge match up exactly with what we see on our VFR sectional. Absolutely awesome. Alright, so let's get a climb going. We're going to start a left turn. Actually, we're going to teardrop our way back, and we're just going to follow that set of transmission lines back. These trees also look great. I feel like the trees are a little bit harder to judge just based on the fact that in the area that we're in, I feel like this is pretty similar to what Microsoft had drawn in for trees. Getting a little fast here. Oh, I still got flaps down and we're going way too fast. Oops, wrong direction with the flaps. Flaps coming up. Now that we just overstressed the heck out of our aircraft. Yeah, so they're not the easiest things to see. Maybe he could have drawn them with a lighter gray color, so they're not so dark. That might help. Also going to throw it out there that I would never be flying this low and whoa, screwing around with power lines like this in real life. It's a recipe for disaster. Alright, we're going to start coming right again. Throttle's coming back. Oh, you know what? I'm going to climb up a little bit. Because I remember there was a fix, a line of, I don't know if whatever LOD is, line of draw, line of distance. But one of the modifications that Bijan made in his trees, it does a better job flying. It does a better job drawing trees way out on the horizon. So I'm just curious to see what that looks like. So we're coming up on 1,000 feet here. So the question is, this compared to the standard tree draw of Microsoft Flight Simulator, is this doing a better job drawing trees? That looks like Chester off the nose, just to the left, blinking light. Probably the lighted tower at Chester. Yeah, so the way that it draws trees, it looks, it definitely looks nice. Yeah, like I said, trees are hard because I feel like the New England area has pretty standard trees. We don't have palm trees. We don't have any real crazy colors. So I have springtime terrain in here, so I guess that's something to look at. So these trees are going to be a little bit darker as the growth is just barely coming in as new growth. The colors are going to be darker. I'm going to cut the throttle and we're going to dive back in on the road here. So I'm going to throw in a hard left bank and we're going to do a emergency descent without gaining too much airspeed. Drop the wings so that we stop producing all the lift. And that allows us to descend quickly without picking up too much airspeed. So now we're down on at the highway, centering up our pedals again. The trees definitely look nice. Come up a little bit. So we got Chester. We still have weather for Chester tuned in. Let's punch it back in there. We got 4 miles to go.
Observation 1600 Zulu. Wind 285 at 7. Visibility 7. Sky condition. Few clouds at 700 feet.
Winds 285.
13C altimeter 29902.
29902. Get rid of that.
Kilo Sierra November Charlie automated weather observation 1600 Zulu. Wind 285 at 7. Visibility.
It's pretty good radio reception. Starting to get fuzzy.
Temperature 14C dew point 13C altimeter 29902.
So it'll be interesting to see. I'll have to do another video where I change the season. Again, I set seasons to auto. So this is spring right here. I bet you the colors are much brighter greens in the summertime. All right, let's get Chester 122725. Oops. 725. Slow way back. 122. 725. 122725. We are a mile final. Actually, that's wrong landing direction. We'll call this entering at a 45. We're not doing a very good job of that, but Chester traffic, Cessna 4523 November is 1 mile west of the airport. We're entering a right downwind landing, runway 28 Chester. I don't even know if they have a runway 28, so that wasn't great. They have a 35. Close enough. Chester traffic, Cessna 4523 November is 1,000 feet on a right downwind for runway 35 Chester. Whoops, that's not right. 15. Wow, I'm really messing myself up there. I wonder, did I do that before? I'm changing my heading instead of, I'm changing my compass card instead of the heading bug. Alright, 35. That looks more correct. Take a look out the right there. Looks like we're at about a 45 degree. We're going to cut the throttle a little bit more and start our turn. We'll throw some flaps in as soon as we're in the arc. Pretty close. There's the arc flaps. Kind of dog-legging it there because I can't see very well, but alright, we'll keep the power coming out. Mixture's full rich, fuel pump's on, our landing lights on. Oops, overshot it. And we're too low. Wow, ugly. Don't do that in the real world. Alright, we're chopping the power. It's a fairly short field. We're going to go full flaps for the landing. Yeah, we're fast. But we do have it made. I'm comfortable with this. We're in the first 1/3 now. Just looking to touch our mains down. Looking good. Looking good. Bleeding off that airspeed. Landing as slowly as possible. Hold the front wheel off gently and start getting on the brakes. Okay, clean up the aircraft as we're rolling out here. Set the takeoff, set the trim for takeoff. Okay, and we're coming off. Come on. Okay, take a look at that. There's some nice trees right there. That's pretty cool. Right off the nose. That is certainly a non-standard tree rendering. That looks really nice. So of course, if there's lots of that sort of stuff scattered all over the scenery, that's absolutely going to add some nice color. That's awesome. I can't wait to fly this with... Oh, look at that tower. I don't think that's... I don't know if Microsoft Flight Simulator draws the tower like that. Let's hop out again. I don't know if Microsoft Flight Simulator draws that. I think that's the new edition. I'd have to come back without this modification enabled to see. Very cool. Back. Continue taxiing down. I also don't know if it's just trees or if it's grass color that he changed as well. Awesome. Down at the end here, there's a spot to refuel. We'll stop it there. Cut the throttle, and we'll start hitting on the brakes. Crawl our way up to the fuel area. Make sure we give some room so people can get by us. Alright, we'll leave it right there. I'll throw the brakes on. Jump back in the cockpit. Okay, and we'll shut it down. So our transponder can come off. Let me see, what are we looking? Okay, we lost our map in the top right hand corner, but we don't need it anyways, so get rid of it altogether. If anybody wants to see what our FPS looks like, I'll drop that. We're bouncing around that 23 to 28 this entire flight with 5 monitors. Okay. Transponder is off, autopilot's off. We'll take our avionics off. We'll turn off the strobes, navs, taxi light, landing light. We'll leave the beacon on. Alright, we'll take our mixture off. That cuts the engine. We'll continue because Microsoft's a pain. Master switches and the mags. And hop out. So there we go. That's the trees and the towers. Pretty cool. I'm happy with it for sure. Not bad at all. I really wish I knew why my drone camera here wasn't working. I don't know. I'll have to figure that out. All right. Well, thanks for joining me. I hope you guys learned something. I hope this was useful information. Let me know in the comments below if you decided to go and purchase these mods based on this video. That tower. I'm really curious to see if that tower is it's drawn without these mods. Anyhow, thanks for joining us. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.